Henrique Gonçalves was a successful businessman, owner of one of the largest hotel chains in Brazil. In public, he was seen as a visionary, but his obsession with profits distanced him from the daily realities of his employees. After hearing some rumors about problems at the most luxurious hotel in his chain, located in São Paulo, Henrique decided to do something unusual: disguise himself as a waiter and see with his own eyes what the situation was like. When he arrived at the hotel, unrecognizable in his simple uniform, he felt something different in the air. The employees seemed distant, almost exhausted. He entered the restaurant and began serving customers, observing everything around him carefully. Henrique, thoughtful. Are things really out of control, or are these just exaggerations? While serving tables, Henrique noticed that something was wrong. The looks on the employees' faces showed extreme fatigue, and there was an atmosphere of fear in the air. Employee 1 whispering to another waiter, "If the boss knew what happens here after he leaves, it would be the end." Henrique, intrigued, approached discreetly. "Henrique, what happens after?" Employee 1, looking at him suspiciously, "If I were you, I'd stay quiet and do my job. This isn't a place for questions." As Henrique spent more time as a waiter, he began to notice strange behaviors, both from the customers and the management team. Overtime was not paid, and the employees were forced to work in inhumane conditions. At the end of the shift, he decided to follow his colleagues to a secret meeting in the hotel's basement. There he saw a supervisor intimidating the workers. Supervisor yelling, "You complain too much. You don't need rights, you need results. If you don't want to stay, the door is right there." Henrique watched incredulous as one of the employees, Lucia, tried to argue. "Lucia, this isn't fair. We have families. We work to the point of exhaustion. We just want to be treated with dignity." Supervisor laughing cruelly, "You're lucky to have a job, especially in a hotel like this. Now get back to work before I cut more benefits." The supervisor's words shocked Henrique. He realized that his absence from the company's daily operations had allowed a toxic environment to flourish. The employees were suffering, and he, the owner, had no idea what was really happening. After the meeting, Henrique pulled Lucia aside and tried to get more information. Henrique, concerned, "How long has this been going on? Hasn't anyone complained to the boss?" Lucia, laughing bitterly, "Complain to the boss? He only cares about profit. He's never shown up here to see what we really go through." Henrique felt a tightness in his chest upon hearing these words. He realized how far removed he had become from the reality of his own business. That night, Henrique couldn't sleep. Lucia's words and the supervisor's cruelty echoed in his mind. He, who had always been proud of his hotel chain, now saw himself as responsible for an environment of abuse and exploitation. Determined to change things, he continued his disguise for a few more days, closely investigating the situation. Each new discovery only reinforced the severity of the problem. During one of those nights while cleaning tables, Henrique saw something that would change everything. The hotel manager, Mr. Amaral, receiving a thick envelope from a mysterious businessman in a secluded corner of the restaurant. It was clear that something illegal was happening. Henrique, whispering to himself, "This goes beyond what I imagined. What's going on here?" Driven by curiosity, he decided to confront Lucia again, hoping she knew more. Henrique, approaching Lucia discreetly, "Have you heard of anything more serious? Maybe the manager is involved in something that goes beyond just abusive work." Lucia, looking at him with hesitation, "I've heard some rumors about embezzlement and dirty deals, but no one speaks openly. Everyone is afraid." With this information, Henrique realized that the problem wasn't just the mistreatment of employees, but a network of corruption. Determined to take action, he planned to expose the scheme and save his company. However, he knew that doing it alone would be risky. Determined to change the fate of his hotel and fix the mistakes he had allowed to grow, Henrique began to devise a plan. He knew he needed concrete evidence of the corruption scheme and the exploitation of the employees. So, he continued posing as a waiter, now more attentive to any detail that could be used against the corrupt manager and his abusive supervisor. One night, Henrique managed to record a crucial conversation between the manager, Mr. Amaral, and the mysterious businessman. They were talking about money laundering through the hotel and how they kept the employees silent with threats and intimidation. Mr. Amaral, with an air of arrogance, "As long as they're afraid of losing their jobs, no one will report us. This hotel is the goose that lays the golden eggs. The boss will never find out." Businessman laughing. "And if he does, what's he going to do? He hardly ever shows up here." Henrique clenched his fist, holding back his anger. He knew that as the owner, allowing this to continue would be unacceptable. In the days that followed, he approached Lucia and other trusted employees, revealing his true identity and asking for help. Although there was initial distrust and surprise, Henrique's commitment to making things right convinced the workers to collaborate with him. Henrique, with determination, "I was wrong to let this happen, but now I'm going to fix it. I need your help to expose this scheme. We're in this together." Lucia, surprised but confident, "If you're really serious, we're with you. We deserve justice." Now the challenge would be great: to expose the manager and the corrupt businessman while protecting the workers who were on his side. With the recordings and employee testimonies in hand, Henrique knew he was about to strike the biggest blow against corruption within his own company. He organized a secret meeting with his lawyers and the police, planning an operation to expose the manager and the businessman at the hotel's next gala event, where both would be present. The plan was simple. Henrique would reveal himself publicly, confront the culprits, and hand over the evidence to the police. On the day of the event, the hall was filled with clients and investors. Henrique, still disguised as a waiter, moved among the tables, nervous, while watching Mr. Amaral and the businessman act as if they were untouchable. When the moment came, Henrique put down the tray and stepped onto the stage, grabbing the microphone to everyone's shock. Henrique firmly removing the disguise. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption. I am Henrique Gonçalves, the owner of this hotel, and tonight we have something very serious to address." The hall fell silent. The manager, Mr. Amaral, turned pale. Mr. Amaral, whispering to the businessman, "He's crazy, what is he doing?" Henrique, pointing at the manager, "For too long I neglected what was happening within my own business, but by disguising myself and seeing the reality with my own eyes, I discovered that my hotel was being used for corrupt and illegal purposes." The audience murmured, incredulous. Then Henrique revealed the evidence, calling the police officers who were waiting. Police officer, approaching Amaral and the businessman, "You are under arrest for involvement in corruption, money laundering, and labor abuse." The shock was widespread. The manager and the businessman tried to resist, but were taken away under everyone's eyes. With the arrest of the manager and the businessman, Henrique breathed a sigh of relief, but knew that this was only the beginning of the real change the hotel needed. When speaking with the employees the next day, he promised to completely transform the work environment. Conditions would be improved, rights respected, and he would be more present, ensuring that everything would be different. The employees, still distrustful, began to see Henrique in a different way. Lucia, who had shown herself to be one of the leaders among the employees, was invited by Henrique to a special meeting where he promoted her to a supervisory position, recognizing her courage and determination in fighting for her colleagues. Henrique, serious but with a smile of relief. "Lucia, you have shown more strength and leadership than many who have held high positions here. I want you by my side in this transformation. Do you accept the offer?" Lucia, emotional but firm, I accept, but I hope this is just the beginning of real change. We deserve it." Henrique nodded, aware that he would need to continue striving to make up for his mistakes. Over time, the hotel prospered again, but now in a more ethical and fair way. Henrique, who was once known only as a distant millionaire, came to be seen as a reformed businessman who learned from his mistakes and knew how to reconnect with the humanity of those who worked for him. Months after the scandal, the hotel was unrecognizable, for the better. Henrique began visiting each of his establishments in person, talking with the employees and ensuring that everything was operating ethically. Lucia, now the hotel's operations manager, supervised the improvements she had promised her colleagues. The work environment, once oppressive, had transformed into a place of respect and collaboration. Henrique, who had always been seen as a cold and distant businessman, gained a new purpose. He had become an advocate for labor rights and invested not only in the growth of his business, but also in the well-being of his team. The scandal taught him that without taking care of people, financial success was not worth it. Lucia, in a conversation with Henrique after a day of work: "I never imagined I would live to see so many changes here. I think in the end, we all grew from this." Henrique, smiling, looking at the revitalized hotel: "I learned the hard way, Lucia, but I'm glad I corrected the course. This is just the beginning. Let's make sure this place is an example of how things should be done." The hotel, now known not only for its luxury, but for its justice and ethics, was a reflection of Henrique's transformation, a man who needed to lose everything to understand what really mattered. What an inspiring journey. The story of Henrique Gonçalves shows us that even in the midst of power and financial success, true value lies in how we treat the people around us. His decision to disguise himself as a waiter revealed not only the problems in his hotel, but also the need for change in his own life. Overcoming greed and negligence, he reconnected with the humanity he had lost. And you? Which part of this story touched your heart the most? Comment below. If you were moved by this story of overcoming, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Your support makes all the difference. Do you know someone who needs to hear this message? Share it with your friends and family and spread this inspiration. Stay tuned. In the next video, we will explore an even more emotional story that will touch your heart in an unexpected way. Don't miss it. We would love to hear your opinion. Leave a comment and tell us how you connected with today's story. Your words could be the inspiration someone needs. Subscribe now to our channel Inspired Stories and activate the bell to not miss any of our amazing and emotional stories. Thank you for watching the video up to here. Your time and support mean a lot to us, and we hope to see you in the next video. Until then,